Hey Terry, good morning. How are you today?
Oh, great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's Monday morning, July 12th, and Terry and I are launching a whole new show. I don't even know what to call it. So I guess we're going to kind of maybe go with horse racing today, or I wanted to do something along the lines like Good Morning, like a Good Morning America, but I couldn't think of anything in horse racing that kind of started with A. I don't know. Can you think of anything, Terry?
Uh, well, how about Good Morning Pick 4 Day?
Something like that. Well, you
Yeah.
pick Ford today, maybe something along those
Yeah,
lines.
that'd
But
be good. Yeah.
I think horse racing today is a good name for the show because we're going to cover a whole bunch of things every single day at the same time, 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock in the morning out on the West Coast where Terry is. I'm here in Chicago. We're going to cover a little bit of news. We're going to cover Terry's best bets of the day. And then, of course, Terry and I are going to make our pick fours for the day. So it should be a very entertaining show. We'll be on every Monday through Thursday at the same time. Terry's already getting phone calls from the fans. Hey, I see you on TV. So we'll be covering those. It'll be a good time, I hope. But you'll either grow to love us or hate us. Hopefully, love us. And forgive me if my internet's a little bit chalky today for some reason. I don't know why, but it's kind of in and out. I think because I have a lot of people at home and kids are on the Wi-Fi, the TV's on Wi-Fi, everything's on Wi-Fi. Even though I have a Wi-Fi extender, it's supposed to help, but every now and then that signal kind of wanes. So I'll be back if I do disappear. You ready to get started, Terry?
I am.
All right, well, let's get cracking. We're going to talk a little bit about the big Saturday afternoon for jockey Ryan Moore and trainer Aiden O'Brien at Belmont with Bolshoi Ballet and Santa Barbara both winning their races at that big Belmont weekend. What'd you think of those, Terry? We kind of covered them together.
Well, yeah, I thought they're excellent. The trainer Aiden O'Brien, he came with both horses well prepared, and he picked the right jockey. Boy, that jockey did a great job, especially on Santa Barbara, because Santa Barbara was blocked, had trouble getting out to come, and then won pretty darn easily, was pulling away.
Yeah, and if you watch that race, when we were watching it, the one horse Con Lima was up on the rail, right? Was our horse was winning, the one that we had picked on the live show, and Ryan Moore never even asked the horse to go.
No, he didn't use the crop once. So
no, he didn't. The horse just kind of corralled the horse. It looked like he could have raced him at Monmouth without a whip.
Yeah,
so it's a really big day for those two, and I would imagine that we're going to see Bolshoi Ballet and Santa Barbara on this side of the Atlantic more often, and maybe you might want to remember those names, write them down in your horse racing handicapping book, whatever you keep, your notes, your handbook, because I suspect you're going to see them and others like we always do at Del Mar this November for the Breeders' Cup.
I agree with that. I'm fairly sure that he'll be coming with those horses and maybe some others.
He's got a couple of other good ones over there too. So I think you're going to see. There was a horse that ran last weekend called St. Mark's Basilica. And that horse could be his best horse. That horse was tremendous. So you can head on over to Horse Racing Radar. Our Frisco Bash has a nice little write-up about the big day for Aiden O'Brien. It's probably well worth your time to head on over there and read that. A couple of other newsworthy items as well that we're going to be covering. Probably a name you're going to hear a lot more from, and maybe not in the horse racing sense, but more in a litigation sense, is Bob Baffert.
Yes.
So Bob is now giving his evidence because the New York Racing Association said that he couldn't race at Belmont, Saratoga, or Aqueduct. Well, that really only affects Belmont and Saratoga right now. But Bob sued, saying he's losing his due process rights. And he's losing customers because trainers or owners are taking horses elsewhere because he can't run at these big meets.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm saying, no, what happened to innocent until found guilty? I mean, I don't think he should have been banned until the decision in Kentucky was complete. And it worries me about, for a long time now, I've been worried about the health of the industry. And these sort of things just put a real blight on things. And I think there are a lot of outside people or organizations that are helping to drive this sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm old fashioned too. I believe in due process, right? I think people should have a chance to present their case to whatever the court is. Now they're not going to civil court or criminal court like a constitution, but there are rules within horse racing, right? And I suspect and expect that the people in horse racing would abide by those. So right now, Churchill has suspended Bob Baffert, so has NYRA, but a state hasn't officially, or a racing commission hasn't officially sanctioned him yet and said he's banned. So right now, Del Mar is about to open, and as it stands now, Del Mar is going to allow Bob to have stalls. My concern is I think it would be completely unfair for Bob to get started, and then halfway through, Kentucky says, because Del Mar says they're waiting to see what Kentucky says before they make up their mind. If Kentucky bans Bob, then Del Mar's going to ban Bob. Yeah. I say stand on your own damn 2 feet. If you let him get started, I think it's unfair halfway through the season to tell him to pack your bags and get out of here if he doesn't violate anything during his Del Mar meet.
I agree with that. And whatever happened to innocent until found guilty. And the other thing is that he's going to lose some horses, I think, that he would possibly have for Del Mar racing, because they're going to be afraid that he may be banned right through the middle of the meet. So, yeah, I think you're correct in what you're saying there.
Well, I understand that Bob's had a lot of the dog ate my homework excuses, which, I would imagine the first kid who used the dog ate my homework excuse wasn't lying. You know what I mean? He probably did eat his homework. But, maybe Bob has skirted the rules in the past. I can't say one way or the other. I don't know for sure. But I do believe Bob should have his ability to speak his mind. So,
yeah. And one other thing, I think that the rules need to be uniform across the nation. I mean, there's different rules and different racing units all through the nation. So I think they need to do something to get those all in line with each other.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, I know that Congress is working on a national horse racing standard. I personally give it my stamp of approval because I do think the rules should be uniform. You have no whip in Monmouth. In some places you have unlimited use of the whip. You have Lasix in some races and not Lasix in other races. You have trainers being canceled, Bob Baffert, without due process at some tracks, but allowed them run at other tracks. I think a Jerry Holland offer too. So, yeah. I mean, there's no question. I think, we all can agree that we want a clean sport. We want the best for horse racing. We want to see it grow. But I think the way you make that happen is not by making emotional decisions, but by having a process by which you make decisions and you stick to them so that everybody knows exactly what the rules are and there are no gray areas. You break a rule, you're gone. That's simple. But we have to know you broke the rule, give us the evidence, and then go ahead and come down with the law, the hammer. And at that point in time, everybody can respect that.
Yeah, and it needs to be the same rules everywhere. So.
I totally agree with you. All right, so now we're off the news to today. And again, you can head over to Horse Racing Radar. Again, our Frisco Bash has a nice story about Bob Baffert and his evidence for the NYRA, why he is actually losing business and feels like his constitutional due process rights are being, taken away from him. So we got a nice comment here from a Thomas Carley, who says that his previous 30 tests give racetrack the reason to ban him. I agree, Thomas, 100%. But at the same time, I feel like he should still have due process. I made a lot of mistakes as a kid that they can go back and say, Rich did this a lot when he was 18 years old, 19 years old. I haven't done it since then, but I did it then. I don't do it now. I try to behave now, except when the mic is off.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So, that Terry called me like crazy. So let's see, Terry, speaking of Terry calls, Terry's made a couple calls for today as his best bets for the day. Terry, tell us who you like, why you like them, and see if perhaps people can cash some nice tickets today.
Okay. Well, I like this third race at PARX Racing today. I like the number 2 Roan Mountain. In the last race, lost the rider when the horse shied. And so I'm going to throw that race out. He's finished 80% of the time in the money at today's distance, and he's won 20% of those races. He has finished 87% of the time in the money, winning 13% of the races this year alone. And then my second choice would be number 3, Silver Edge. He had an excuse last race, having a wide trip, and he finished in the money 8 out of 9 of the last races. And then number 7, Ochi Dior, is dropping in class today for this contest, and he has the highest speed rating or figure at today's distance, and he steadied in his last race, which lost all chance for him. So that would be my pick for today. And just to let you know that yesterday my pick of the day won, and my second choice ran second. So we're hoping to go for the second one in a row here.
Well, tell us a little bit about your stats, Terry. You know, when we're off air, Terry lets us know he keeps track of everything in Excel, and he keeps detailed stats. I love that about Terry. I mean, how have your picks done? Why should people listen to you?
Well, since March 1st, I'm running at about 35% winning with my first pick. And if you use both my first and second pick, I'm close to 60% win. And I'm in the money around 70% of the time with my first and second pick. So it's been doing well. This month alone, I think I'm at 30% so far.
I don't know if that's Terry or if that's me that just went out, but we're back apparently, so that's good. So you were saying you have a high hit rate and a high win rate. The internet kind of went in and out. I don't know if it was me or you, Terry, but one of us is having some internet issues. Okay. Usually there's a little moniker in my window when I'm having problems and I'm not seeing it. So, but thankfully you're back, just a small blip. I agree, Tom Carley. Tom, going back to the Bob Baffert, says that gamblers won't bet on races that Bob Baffert's in. And that's, again, why I think it's imperative that they actually come up with a system. So the gamblers, horse players like myself, like Terry, like Tom, like Sean, like everybody who comes to horseracingradar.com can have confidence that the horses on the track are all running under the same circumstances, that one's not getting, an accidental ointment. Which yes. I agree. Plus, I mean, it just ruins the sport. You think about Medina Spirit winning the Kentucky Derby. Everybody was jacked up. And then a week later, the news comes out, and it's just like, it's like you're in a hot air balloon 17,000 feet above the surface, and someone poked it, and you have that feeling that I'm going to drop to the earth and die. And it's just, we don't need any more of that. The sport needs to grow. It doesn't need any more reasons to shrink. And unfortunately, an inconsistent enforcement program or policy from state to state, like Terry mentioned, I think is one of the problems with horse racing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Totally.
All right. So we got Terry's best bet of the day. And as you heard, his numbers are fantastic. So I don't know. I don't keep as much notes as Terry does, but he promises for the show he's going to keep track of our Pick 4 tickets. So in putting this together, Terry and I understand that everybody has different budgets, right? Terry's got what's it called? The steak that you like to eat, prime rib budget, right? Prime rib and caviar. And I'm on a hot dog budget. What can I say? So I put together the hot dog tickets, and Terry puts together the prime rib tickets.
Yep, that's the way it is.
See, he sees there's no bashfulness about it at all. He's like,
no,
I'm the man. All right, so let's take a look at the Pick 4 tickets that we have available for today. We'll start with the low-cost Pick 4 tickets, and this is PARX races 7, 8, 9, and 10, if I remember correctly. Yep, there we go. So, Terry, in race number 7, you're starting with 3, the 1, the 3, and the 7. What do you like about those horses?
Actually, that should be that's a mistake. So I like the 1, 4, and 5.
1, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know how I got that. So Terry likes the 1, 4, and 5.
That was my mistake. My bad. So.
Okay. So what do you like about the 1, 4, and 5?
Well, I like the 1 because he likes the distance and the turf, and he changes to a jockey who's been hot jockey the last 7 days. Out of 14 mounts, he's won 6, ran second 4 times. That's Frankie Pennington, and so I think he's going to do really well. And then the number 5, Kidnapped, is dropping in class. And the number 1, Strawberry Red, likes the distance, early speed. He's got the early speed running style, which will help his chances. I think that the way the race is going to go is several horses will go to the lead. And number 4, I Am Redeemed, will sit behind the leaders and will close at the end to win the race. Number 3, and number 5 will close from deep to win and try to win.
So you have the 1, the 3, and the 5, right?
Yeah.
1, 4, and 5. I'm sorry.
1, 4, 5. Yeah.
Yes, I'll take this down because those aren't the right numbers. I don't know how I got them wrong. Any case,
I'm the one that got them wrong. So
you sent me the wrong runs. All right. Anyway,
I did.
I'm pretty sure mine are right. I confuse myself a lot, especially when I write stuff down because my handwriting is absolutely terrible.
Let me go back. I'm sorry. That's my bad. I was looking at the wrong race.
Okay, so it is 1, 3, and 7.
Yeah, I was looking at the 9th race. So
all right. So I'm glad we don't all have Alzheimer moments together.
I do.
Me as well. So it is the 1, the 3, and the 7 then.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so fantastic. For me, I like the 1 and 3. Both horses last time out ran a speed figure above par for this level at PARX. If one of the two of them runs above par again, one of the two is going to win, I suspect. So I'm going to go with just too deep in the first leg. In the second leg, Terry, I hope I got it right. The 3, the 5, and the 9.
Yeah, that's the correct one. Yeah.
Okay. What do you like about the 3, the 5, and the 9?
Okay. I like Natoma because she's shortening up in distance. Let me make sure I'm on the right race. Yeah, I am. And that should help. And then I like the 9, Fed Policy, because he won his last race easily and likes the turf. And he has the highest last race speed rating. And he's got a 33% trainer when repeating with claimers. So he has 30% win with that. So anyway. And then I like the number 5, Wings of Fury. He has a high percent trainer and a high percent jockey. Finished 3rd versus similar last race. Has a hot jockey in the last 7 days, and he likes the turf and the distance. So.
Well, one quick thing here about the turf: it is expected to rain in Philadelphia today, so I would not be surprised to see some races canceled, move off the turf, and some scratches. So keep that in mind when you're looking through your picks. I like the 7, the 8, and the 9. Once again. The 8 and the 9 are 2 horses that did run above par last out. And according to my pace analysis, the 7 horse should be coming the hardest late. So if the ground is a little bit wet, we know with turf, if they run on turf, that closers tend to do better on a heavier track than the horses up front. If that's the case, the 7 should be coming like a truck at the end out in Scranton, Pennsylvania, 30,000 pounds of bananas in a truck without brakes. Harry Chapin, look it up. Race number 9, you got a single, Terry.
I do. I really like I Am Redeemed. As I said, he likes the distance, and he's got and he also likes the turf, and he changed to a hot jockey. Mm-hmm. I've already went over this earlier when I made my bad mistake. But yeah, he's only raced twice, but he's done really well, and I think he's a standout.
Yeah, for me, I like the 4 too, but again, I think this race could be off. On an off track, the 4 has not gotten a trip on an off track. It was between the 1 and the 2 for me on that second pick. I went with the 1 simply because I think it has a chance to be near the front. It has some early pace and it has some decent late pace. So if it can get to the front and it's kicking up some mud or whatever surface they're on, I think the 1 horse can sustain. He's won 4 of 9 on an off track, and I think he's one that could be near the front at a distance that does favor speed. So he's got speed, he's got late legs. I'm pairing him up with the 4. Finally, race 10, I agree. Well, I kind of disagree, but it is one I think you have to go deeper in. You've gone a little bit deeper than I did here, and we only have, we got 2 numbers that match.
Yeah, I like the 1. The 2, Lease, he just won the last time out. He's been 50% of the time in the money in his career, and he's won 25% of those races. And then I like the number 1, 1-2 Kid. He's got a hot jockey trainer combination in the last 14 days. And he has a really sharp workout on July 5th. He's won 2 out of 4 in his career. So, and then I like number 5, Omati. He's very, very competitive. Dam has produced 2 turf winners, and he has a 31% trainer in the last 46 to 90 days. And then number 10, Koi Moore, likes the turf and the distance. And then I like a 5th one, which is the number 11, Shabam. He's got the highest speed rating, and he drops in class today.
Well, we'll talk about the big ticket in a minute, Terry.
Okay.
All right, so I do agree. I like the 1, the 10, and 11. And Tom asks me if I have a lot of one horses in my picks. I think the reason I have a lot of one horses in my picks is it did look when I was doing my analysis that the rail does have a higher win percent than all the other post positions. So I did factor that in a little bit. But in the races that we covered today, the one horse had some advantages. Either it was early pace advantage or a late pace advantage. And if it had an early pace advantage in a shorter race, I was happy about that. And if it had a late pace advantage in a longer race or one where closing was, the proper way to win, or the style that wins more frequently, that's how I went with the one horse. But I felt like the one horse, at least in the last race, had an advantage on the rail in race number 9. And because he is a horse that had some of the top early pace figures and some of the top late pace figures, if the track gets sloppy, we see a lot of times horses that get to the front can sustain because they're kicking up the mud, and all those other horses don't like that. So although there is a slight inside bias, it seems, from the win percentages of the one. So those are our short tickets. Now we're going to go out there for the Terry budgets, right, Terry?
Yeah.
This is going to be Terry's real ticket. $100, mine is 81, and there you see, Tom, I have the one horse in every single race. So if it goes 1-1-1-1, that'll be make a nice, easy winning ticket. So you can see there, Terry's ticket's $100. There's a couple horses that you added. Tell us about the horses that you added, Terry, at least some of them, and why you went so deep in like races 8 and 9 and 10.
Okay. Well, I added in the 8th race. I actually dropped a horse in the 7th. I dropped your one horse, and I added in the 8th race 2 other horses, and I added the 2 and the 10. And I added those horses because, let me get to the 8th race here, because I like Side Rail because he's been 50% of the money in the turf races. And he has the best turf speed and is fastest among today's starters. And then the 10, JJ Loves Billy, he has really good works. He made a big improvement last race in his speed rating. So I think he's really set to maybe come on in this race.
Okay. For me, I added the 8 in the first leg, simply because this is a horse that has had some PARX success, 3 of 5 at PARX, 3 at 5 at the distance, but most importantly, if it does get wet, 2 times across a wet track, 2 wins. Race number 8, I feel like race number 8 is wide open. If I had the ability to hit the all button, I probably would have, but unfortunately, I could not find a way to all it. So I went the 1, the 2, the 5, the 7, the 8, and the 9. In race number 9, as I mentioned before, I was split between the 2 horse and the 1 horse to pair with the 4 in the less expensive ticket. The 2 horse is 3 for 3 on an off track. So if it's wet, I wouldn't be surprised if the 1 or the 2, if they run 1-2 all the way around the track, with the 4, the favorite, maybe struggling because it's his first time across a wet track. So otherwise, in that race 10 is exactly the same for me. I think those are the 3 best horses.
Yeah, I actually added the 11 in that last race, race 10. And I did it because he has the highest speed rating, and he drops in class today. He has the best turf speed among today's starters. So,
okay, so those are our pick 4 tickets, and tomorrow we'll probably be doing Indiana Grand for our pick 4. We'll decide what news we're going to take a look at a little bit later on today to see what kind of happens in the horse racing world today, to decide what's on topic. And of course, we'll have Terry's pick of the day. We'll be live at 1 o'clock. If you like it, just go down there, hit that subscribe button and the bell. You'll get a ding when we're about ready to go. I'm sure you'll like it even more if both Terry and I are common picks today. Go ahead and hit that pick 4 at PARX. There's one small caveat, though. I have some personal business that I have to attend to, unfortunately, either tomorrow or Wednesday, that may keep me out of my office past the starting time. If that's the case, we'll announce it on social media, both Twitter and Facebook. Make sure you head on over to Horse Racing Radar, search it on Facebook, like us there, or head on over to Twitter and follow us at Twitter at Horse Racing Radar as well. Terry, any parting thoughts for today? Any horse racing kernels of wisdom?
No, not as far as horse racing, but as far as for me personally, I'm going to do a better job tomorrow. I'll keep my facts straight and get it set up a little bit differently. So
yeah, well, I just took what you gave me and I made those graphics right from when you said no. I was like, oh no,
no.
I'm having I need to head out over there to the local vitamin shop and get one of those things to help my memory or something. Or in any case, all right, folks. Well, that wraps it up for day one for horse racing today, Monday, July 12th. Again, we covered Bob Baffert, a big weekend at. We need to. Tom Carly says if we need to fill and let him know. Tom, go ahead and send me your email address. It's contact me at gtsrichb@gmail.com, or you can go ahead and hit us up in a DM in Twitter. Sean will take care of that and get back to me. And if anybody else wants to talk to us, or if there's any races you want us to cover, any topics you want to cover, if you want us to talk about our favorite handicapping angles, whatever it is you want us to talk about, let us know. This is a community. We're all in this together to find a way to go ahead and beat the house. Sound good?
Yep.
And here's Sean's pick 4. Race 7, 1-3, race 3. He's got just about every horse in the race. Race 9, 1, 4, and 5. Race 10, 1, 6, 10, 11. Sounds like he took our picks, Terry, and just tried to make him his.
All right. Sounds like it, don't it?
Sounds like it for sure. All right, Tom, I got it. Thank you. I will go ahead and be in contact with you. And, of course, folks, until we meet again next time, everybody, good luck at the races.